Selamat datang. Terima kasih pada
Selamat siang, Bapak dan Ibu. Good afternoon, Sensei in Japan. Sensei.
Halo.
Bagi Bapak dan Ibu mohon bisa mematikan suaranya dulu dalam sesi presentasi.
Iya, santai. Soalnya kalau
boleh
naik travel tuh harus
suaranya
dari
Bu Meli.
sini ke
Terdengar di sini Bu Meli. Oke. Mematikan suaranya dulu.
Sudah. Sudah.
Sumimasen sensei, konnichiwa. Sensei, I think participants are still in progress. We have around 280 registrants for today's webinar. Do you mind if we start maybe 105, Sensei?
No problem, no problem.
I still in progress. We have 280 registrants.
Suaranya masih mute.
Ya, Bapak dan Ibu, kita akan mulai jam 1:05 Bapak Ibu ya. Sambil mohon maaf ini telat 5 menit Bapak dan Ibu. Kami memperoleh pendaftar. Ada berapa orang Pak Yuyu? Maaf yang terdaftar itu Pak Yuyu?
350 Pak.
350 ya, tapi ini baru hadir 48. Kita tunggu. Ya, Bapak dan Ibu, nampaknya sudah jam 1:06. Kita akan mulai saja. I would like to start the session. And then we already have here Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe of Hiroshima University. And also this is a very special day that we can see again Kusakabe Sensei from Hiroshima University. And also UPI, Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia Rectors, Profesor Dr. M. Solehuddin MA that already here. Assalamualaikum Pak Rektor. Mungkin tadi ini ya keluar lagi. Oh, ada di sini sebentar, Prof. Saya spotlight. Masih di mute, Prof. Suaranya belum terdengar, Prof. Pak Rektor.
Ya, sudah masuk ya suaranya.
Ya, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, you have met with Kusakabe Sensei, Professor Kusakabe, Mr. Rector. He's from Hiroshima University, who awarded UPI Award 2020. Kusakabe Sensei. Kusakabe Sensei, maybe you want to greet to the Mr. Rector.
Thank you very much for the UPI award.
You are still mute, Prof. Pak Rektor. Masih di mute, Pak.
Okay, you welcome, Mr. Pardon, I forget the name.
Kusakabe.
Kusakabe, ya, Kusakabe, ya. Thank you very much for your dedication to UPI. Yeah.
Shall we start, Prof?
Okay.
Bapak Ibu Sensei. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very good afternoon for everybody, all the participants. And then Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
It's a great honor for us to see again each other in the KIX or KIX Knowledge and Innovation Exchange in the cycle 2 and in the third meeting. We already experienced 2 meetings before and another 3 meetings before regarding learning improvement for all. And then we still have unfinished the story, experience, and knowledge from Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe of Hiroshima University, especially from the Center of Study of International Cooperation in Education. And also we have another special guest, very special guest, that is UPI Rector, Professor Solehuddin. And then we have these 2 eminent speakers. Today, actually, there are more than 300, Pak. More than 350 registrants, but just like yesterday, some of them coming late, Pak. So we do believe that number of the participants will increase. And then the first speaker, without further ado, I would like to please Sensei as a first speaker, and then it will be continued with the second speaker, that is UPI's Rector. So Sensei, Kusakabe Sensei, konnichiwa. And then over to you, Sensei, for your another inspiring knowledge and sharing experience, Sensei. Please, Sensei.
Thank you very much. So the sequence from the previous 2 lectures, I'd like to continue my lecture contents. So let me share my slides. Just let me introduce as for the maybe needless to say the title, but my title was Learning for All. So I did already the explanation of lesson study of which is handled by the UPI, and the UPI's knowledge transformed to Pakuan University and Bali, also peer tutoring in Bangladesh, also homework project in South Africa, Pretoria University and Hiroshima University coordinated. Also lesson study in Vietnam, Vietnam National University and Hiroshima University team established bottom-up system in Vietnam, rural area in Vietnam. So nowadays, the government or local government recognized that the effectiveness of the lesson study in Vietnam. So Vietnam already has started the effective effective research project in the rural area by formulating the professional learning community PLC approach in the government. Also, in Ethiopia, the teachers by themselves formulated the school-based tutorial on Friday after the regular class. But Hiroshima University and Addis Ababa University coordinated to make that slots of tutorial slots from Monday to Friday. So what's effects or outcome obtained in the Ethiopia? So I'd like to introduce today the outcomes of the learning improvement result. But before going to the outcome, unfortunately, very unfortunately, our project so far cut off due to the pandemic. So it means that also we must accept the fragility from the fragility if we get some disturbing from the natural disaster, also kind of civil war or pandemic. That means I think maybe we need to start again from the beginning in the next phase. But we hope our enterprising could be revived in near future. Okay, but that I'd like to confirm with all of you the education. Before conducting education, we need to keep the peace status for the education, right? So in Ethiopia, as you know, we set up the 5 units for tutorials. School-based tutorials means, again, let me introduce about this tutorial. The teachers remain at the school, and then they, after finished the regular class, the room for mathematics, room for science, room for English, room for national language. And then the students can visit the, for example, mathematics class. And then students can question to a teacher what was difficult in this week or in this unit. Students can ask to the teachers. That's the system of school-based tutorial. Why we could approach by this approach? Because of the teachers had complaining to us. Why without any extra salary, do we have a duty to contribute by free and further more slots for the tutorials? But Ethiopia already had the education sector development programs or the higher education proclamation, the school net. Historically, Ethiopia has been contributed to the education quality improvement. For example, GKIP, General Education Quality Improvement Program. GKIP Equity has recently been launched from 2017. What means that Ethiopian government or Ethiopian education system already had this unit of school-based tutorial. But in Ethiopian country, they couldn't realize the policy from the policy to the action. What means that, for example, due to the education policy, the Ethiopian primary school, Ethiopian secondary school must conduct this school-based tutorial. But teachers were reluctant to do this school-based tutorial. So the Hiroshima University and the Addis Ababa University facilitated, please, we should conduct this school-based tutorial in the classroom. After that, maybe we could get about some of ideal outcome. So we conducted, baseline survey and endline survey. The baseline survey is the pre-test. For example, we asked test score, learning interest, self-study, relationship with the teachers, parents' involvement to students. And post as well, endline survey, we asked same question and same to the same students. So we can check blue line is pre and red line is post. The test score were improved. That's maybe main outcome. Not only for that, learning interest also improved. Self-study also a bit improved. Relationship with the teachers a bit declined. Why, I don't know. But maybe we analyzed self-study. If the self-study increased, maybe relationship with teachers maybe declined. Also, parents' involvement. Before it was higher, and post it was declined. Maybe the tutorial accepted the caring of parents' involvement. Yeah. So we must analyze those elements, but on the other hand, we could have the outcome in terms of test score, learning interest, and self-study. Horeta is the controlled for comparing. We didn't conduct the school-based tutorial here. So test was a bit improved, and learning interest bit improved. But self-study declined, relationship with teachers declined, parents' involvement declined. So I believe that we have something positive effectiveness to the target school. Yeah. Also, we could analyze the achievement of students in grade 10 national examinations, or the passing rate of students to preparatory school. Preparatory school means the after graduation of the secondary, lower secondary, the upper secondary, entering upper secondary is quite difficult because of after finished the lower secondary, the Ethiopian students must go either the academic course or TVET course, technical vocational education course. Of course, many students wants to enter the university. So many of people who want to enter the preparatory school. On the other hand, preparatory school must have capacity. So the basically the going to academic course is very difficult for the Ethiopian students. For example, Olankomi, our target school, 2015 and 14, the passing rate was only 28%. But after started our project, the school-based tutorial, they started, their number increased from 2015 to 2016, and also the next year, after coordinating the Hiroshima University, this became 71%. So it's a great achievement for us. The Horeta 23%, even 2015 and 16, the students' number of the passing rate declined. But 2016 and 17, they improved the passing rate. So that is our outcome, the 71%. Also, we checked this whether the number is correct or not in the city education office, and then the result was correct, and there are no injustice. Authentically, we obtained this result. There, the staffs and professors in Ethiopia, their students in Ethiopia, the education environment are quite better, but to be better, but not so well organized. Okay, what we could get the outcome. Let me introduce. Okay. これ、一体どうするんだろうな。これ。そうそう。はいはい。what the project created. That's the point. Maybe also in Indonesian lesson study already must have this structure. Yeah. Universities in Japan and universities in developing countries, including Indonesia, we already have frequently going back, as I mentioned or Arifu Sensei mentioned before. We have the dialogue process, consultation, planning, practices. So local universities and Japanese universities must have the relationship, very good relationship. On the other hand, education offices or government or aid agency. For example, I observed in CMAIL in Bandung, they must have the relationship with schools, communities, household, those local stakeholders must have the linkage, consultation, planning, practices. So originally, we had the gap, or we didn't have any togetherness with the universities and university side and education offices. But our dialogue group approach to these group: workshop, implementation, observation, knowledge sharing. And then we obtained outcome due to, as I shown you already. And we also we evaluate, reflect, and also knowledge share that as for this outcome. Maybe today is also this process: evaluation, reflection, knowledge sharing. Finally, we can get some further improvement. That's our process. So we made the bridges in between universities and local stakeholders. We call university policy practice partnership. So this UPPP is the most important point for to get success in terms of small scale pilot project. Outcome of the lesson study project. The lesson study successfully produced the gold medal teacher and 2 silver medal teachers in Hanoi City in Vietnam level teacher contest. Yeah. Lessons in the classes at the school have changed from chalk and talk to student-centered. Also, I introduced you in Bari's case study. Teachers now successfully can conduct the to use the ICT equipment. So not only for using chalk and talk. Also, due to the implementations, the end-line survey told us that the project has given positive impact to score, home study, fun, relationship with parents, and relationship with teachers. So, basically, after the project, score, home study, relationship with teachers, we could obtain the very good improvement throughout all over the countries. Necessity of policy practice cooperation. Why we continue this policy practice cooperation? Because this is a conclusion. The project has positive evidences. According to quantitative data, the driving force of the pilot project was that all stakeholders, such as Japanese and ASEAN African countries, universities, local governments, and schools, had not large responsibility. For example, usually we feel the large responsibility, the heavy responsibility we feel. For example, today, maybe Arif Sensei feels heavy responsibility in front of the lecturer. Also, if I cannot connect through the internet, maybe it might have a problem. So, yeah, but if the rector attend this meeting, or I could connect the Arif-san's responsibility could be reduced and be lighter than before. The same thing. That we don't have any colleagues in front of the pilot project, but we must have, each of us have the ownership, and also we can share our responsibility to success of the pilot project. Furthermore, they observed and checked each other. For example, if the progress was not so good, I, from Japan, can email to the university side, local university side, or local university side, phone call, the mobile to the local schools. So we could share our responsibility, a small responsibility each other. That was also one of success, the element of the success. Reason why each project had a positive impact, because we approached education needs in rural areas in ASEAN and African countries, and have chosen some schools have good practice. Yeah, as I explained before, that we had a dialogue, carefree dialogue with the local people, local school side, that unexpectedly they said the lesson study is very good, but that's too early for us. First of all, we'd like to invite community people to the schools, school activities. So far, community members, parents, guardians cannot understand the importance of the school education. So the students very easily can drop out. That's the point. So we searched together. Indonesia already have the strong content as a lesson study, but in other countries, we searched needs. Also, a way forward of those projects are to disseminate to wider areas from those pilot projects. Also, one thing I'd like to say that big finding at this project and also at this moment. So if we ask to local people, local stakeholders with a passion, very keen to ask to the local people, local schools, the school side, they don't deny, they accept our passion. And then let's conduct UPPP, and also to some extent, if they can at least 1 year or half year, we conduct together, they must have very good outcome. That is one thing, good finding, big finding in this project. But on the other hand, sustainability of the project is a bit problem. For example, in some case, if we left from after the finishing this project, stopped this project, they couldn't have the sustainability by themselves. That's the one thing that also the finding, well, the two findings. Yeah, I'd like to quote from the Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh, the Grameen Bank case study. The Grameen Bank also has started as one small project. Just Professor Muhammad Yunus, Chittagong University professor, lend a small amount of the money to the lady who are housewife. And then that housewife bought the paddy, the rice, brown rice, unhusked rice. And then the unhusked rice was 10 kg was, for example, if I may say $1, then maybe $2. Yeah. And then she paid by herself $1 more for husking paddy. She bring to the husking mill, and the husking mill husked from a brown rice to white rice. And then she bring to the bazaar market, and then she paid $5, those white paddy. So she could obtain the $1 from these activities. So Muhammad Yunus must have the theory, how maybe from the pilot project, that if he take care of those projects, maybe the enterprising would be better than before. So nowadays, Grameen Bank is quite good, became good enterprising. So Grameen Bank became a very big bank now. So I believe that the learning improvement project also must have the possibility, potential for growing up the future. I hope not only for the learning, but also another business sustainability development partner we could be between UP and Hiroshima University. Anyway, I'd like to appreciate, and also I'd like to tell all of you, this was very honor for me, and not only me, but also Hiroshima University. I'm very glad, and thank you very much indeed for choosing me as a UP award. I love Indonesia. I love Indonesia people very much. Also, I love Indonesian education very much. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed to the Professor Tatsuya Kusakabe of Hiroshima University. And then finally, we can grasp a whole idea about learning improvement for all. And then in the case of Asia and Africa countries, what a very good journey that you have explained to us, Sensei, since yesterday and the day before yesterday. Starting the concept and then coming from the case of UPI in Indonesia, Garo in Bangladesh, and then in South Africa, in Ethiopia, and then wrapped together into a form of the learning improvement. Thank you so much, Sensei. Allow us to postpone the dialogue because we want to come to the second speaker, another special guest today. That is Professor Dr. M. Solehuddin. He's a professor in the education, especially early child education, graduated from United States of America. And then he experiencing with a big team regarding new research. And this research is related with Asia countries. Without further ado, I would like to please Mr. Rector, Professor Solehuddin, for your presentation. Over to you, Prof. Still mute, Prof. Is it we cannot hear your voice? Still
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah.
Please, Prof.
Okay. The honorable our colleagues from Japan, Professor Tatsuya Kusabe, and our colleagues here, Prof. Aim.
We have Pak Sumar Hendayana, Prof, Presiden
Yeah.
Lesson Study Indonesia.
Oh, Pak Aim, Bu Ana, Pak Arif, and others, and Prof siapa? Hendayana ya?
Prof Sumar Hendayana,
yeah. Ini our senior ya, Prof Sumar Hendayana. I think all of us are familiar with him, and all participants in this webinar today. Let me to share. Sorry, I still try to check. Sorry, I try to look for my file.
Take your time, Prof. Take your time.
Yes.
We also have Pak Asep Supriyatna. Yeah.
Okay. Let me now to represent our team. We have a big team actually. I myself, Ibu Ana, Pak Im, Pak Arif, Mr. Manasobu Sukamoto, Mr. Yoshiaki Shibata, and Mr. Fauzan. Our title of our presentation is Rediscovery of Pedagogy in Classroom through Cross-Cultural Lesson Analysis. Yeah. Okay, my presentation consists of 6 points. Yeah, firstly is about introduction. Secondly is purpose of our research. Thirdly is methodology, findings, implication, and I think the last one is the value of our research. Yeah. To introduce my presentation, we try to cite was stated by Johnson, etc. They say that quality of teaching and learning determined by second factors, main factors. Firstly, it is determined by what actually goes in the classroom, and secondly, determined by how quality of teaching can be improved. So I think we can conclude from this that quality of teaching determined by what actually goes in the classroom, but also determined by our effort, our effort to improve our teaching. Secondly is as learning is contextual, I think it is critical for us to examine the intricacies and complexities of the concept of learning. Through this effort, we can provide different connections to learning in context, cultural awareness, and appreciation of how students construct meaning in the classroom. Philip and Garcia examine teaching as the effective use of text, tools, and talk, and the other researchers, Young and Wilson, found that rich learning consists of grasping core learning through idea generation, connection for different conceptual understanding, and extension into new ways of learning. I think that as introduction of my presentation, and the purpose of our research here is going to try to reveal and compare the lesson factors that compose the class through the eyes of Japanese, Indonesian, and Philippines. With originally, we tried to involve Japan and Mongolia, but in the process we find some difficulties, so we try to replace the Mongolia by Philippines. I think even there might be some similarities in the class factors, there might be also similarities or differences from the social and or cultural extent and values among the countries that are involved in this research. This study tried to make teachers possible to learn about the student based on social and culture in each country, and try to reveal students' learning according to their utterance and notes, to develop the training tool to train teachers to explore students' possibility during lesson while they are speaking. So we try from the lesson, lesson in each country, we try to make a transcript, and we try to analyze the transcript and compare one each other. In terms of business methods, we try to use exploratory study, adopting a cultural approach of viewing, teaching, and learning, and compares classroom practice in 3 countries, that is Japan, Indonesia, and Philippines. We try in our study, we try to develop and verify a training tool that possibly confronts the teacher, classroom, school, or the unique problem in each area in Indonesia, Philippines, and Japan. And by developing with overseas collaborators, there is academic uniqueness in developing training tools that also possible to be utilized internationally. We hope so. Okay, in our Philippines and Japan, in Indonesia, we have Indonesia University of Education, or UVI. I myself as a leader of this project, and in Philippines, we try to involve Philippine University. We try to involve our colleagues there, Ms. Pauline, and in Japan's Nagoya University, we try to involve Mr. Sukamoto. This partner we try to consider ethics in charge of lesson transcript, and we try also to be coordinators in field school observation. And we try to make a collaborative lesson analysis based on lesson transcript, and we try to explore the class possibility evaluation and development of training tool to make elucidation classroom practice. So finally, we come to elucidation for requirement of model leadership leading school-based training. That what we hope into final outcomes, I think, output. In terms of data processing, we mainly involve four main steps. Firstly, we try to make a video and audio recorder of the lesson, and we try to make a modulation. We try to modulate audio video lesson becoming transcript. So we have a transcript for every lesson, and we try to analyze the transcript by finding focus words used by teachers and students. And finally, we come to collection of graphs of focused words for later analysis of learning and sequences. That are our main steps in our study here. Now, finally, we try to determine cultural script of teaching from three following perspectives. Firstly, from the lesson sequences and features of lesson. Secondly, from interaction between the students. And the thirdly, is we try to use facets of the students' learning. From three aspects, we try to make analysis for our study here. Our finding is this. I think this the results of the temporary results, because our study is still ongoing, not finished yet. But for temporary, we have a result like this. Lesson analysis from Japan teachers. We can picture like this. We can see here that student dialogue, student behavior is very dominant. If we compare with another activities, But in terms of Indonesian, sorry, I would like to.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I believe that Mr. Rector is trying to grab a drink.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm allergy of cold, so I should turn off my air conditioner.
Okay, please.
The secondly, it is a lesson analysis from Indonesian teacher. I think we find different picture. While Japanese, the major of lesson activities is dominated by student. Here, maybe we can find another picture: teaching and learning strategy, teachers behavior, and cultural aspect is very dominant. And the last one, we try to look the Philippines. The Philippines. The result is like this. Maybe it is more similar to Indonesian picture, than Japan's. Although still we find differences between Philippines and Indonesian. And if we try to compare of all three countries, we find the comparison is like this. Now, in terms of student dialogues, Japan is predominant. Student behavior, also Japan is predominant, while Indonesia and Philippines, especially Indonesia, is very small activities. But in terms of cultural aspect, Indonesian and Philippines dominant. In media and logistics, most are more almost comparable, I think. But in terms of learning goals, it is Japan is very dominant. And teacher behavior and teaching and learning strategy, Indonesia and Philippines very dominant. I think that's the comparison about lesson analysis topic about three countries. The second findings, I think, about a lesson patterns comment type from three countries. Here, in general, we find about 8 topics of lesson comment from type A until type H. Yeah, type A is linear pattern comment. Here, all stages and of comments are interconnected and mutually reinforcing to achieve the desired learning objectives. This pattern means that comments is getting stronger to achieve learning objective. Secondly is still similar, but that is little different here. Comments that was initially linear strengthened to achieve the desired goal, but in the middle, in a certain part of the comments, the dialogue suddenly turned on a topic that was not connected, not in accordance with the learning objective, but in the end, the comments returned to the main track, namely comment objectives to be achieved. Yeah. Type A and type B. In type C, comments that seem to have a part that is not related to the learning objectives appears in the middle. One of the comments, but ends up being directly related to the objectives when entering the end of lesson. Now, type D comments whose direction is divided into 2 or maybe more, direction, so that comment objective are divided into 2, and between these 2 goals are not interconnected. The type A comments whose learning objective are interrupted in the middle of the road, yeah, then make a new start from the same purpose, or for a different comments goal, a new one. Type F, it is to strength, yeah. Comments that is truly pattern apart from each other, does not know where it is going and the achievement of the desired comments goal. And if we try to compare between comments, the comparison is like this. Yeah. From the Japanese lens, the Indonesian and Philippines lessons suffer from the lack of comparison between the different methods and limited opportunity to deepen student empirical knowledge. From the Indonesian and Philippine lens, the Japanese teacher tries to apply inquiry-based learning, and students enjoy science as inquiry. So very positive, I think, yeah, as they learn and construct their ideas. So we find similar between Indonesia and Philippines, and we have a different kind of comment, yeah, about Japan's. Okay, I think if we try to find snapshots of a picture, we can say that Indonesian and Philippines educators critique that more specific guideline is needed for students. Yeah, the specific guideline is needed for students, and that the material for making discussion is presented without much justification. Now, all Japanese, Indonesian, Philippines evaluated positively the model of a lesson for acquiring knowledge individually and the collaborative learning in classroom for applying knowledge in practice. Finally, we come to main conclusion of our research here. Firstly is cross-cultural lesson analysis is an effort, yeah, to have teachers learn globally from each other and act locally to change the culture of teaching and bring about continuous improvement in classroom practices. And secondly, the study provides a cross-cultural learning opportunity for Japanese, Indonesian, and Philippine teachers and researchers to learn from each other how to analyze lessons in practice, deliver evidence-based suggestions for improvement of lesson, and look culturally at what actually goes on in the classroom. And the implication of our study is by developing with overseas collaborators, there is academic uniqueness in developing training tools that also possible to utilize internationally. I think that's all of my presentation, and I hope this will be fruitful for us to share our ideas about how to improve our teaching in this country. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much indeed, Professor Salahuddin, UPI's rector, for your presentation. And then I think this is very interesting research which I part inside. And also we hope that we might finish the report this year and then publish in a certain journal. And then I would like to jump up with the discussion session or question and answer. But here we have a Kusakabe Sensei. Are you still with us? I'm looking for your video here.
Yeah.
So Sensei, sumimasen. Let me add spotlight. And also we have Professor Sumar. Just for information, Pak Rector, this webinar is part of the KBK lesson study in UPI and part of the to enlarge the KBK of lesson study. Pak Sumar, are you with us, Pak Sumar? Let me add a spotlight. Before coming to the discussion and question and answer, we have two questions here. Maybe Pak Sumar, would you like to give comment as discussion in this webinar, Pak Sumar? Please, Professor Sumar. Still mute, Pak. Okay, Pak Sumar.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Arif. Yeah. Pak Rektor, Professor Kusakabe, thank you very much for inspiring presentation. Yeah. So today is the third day for Kusakabe Sensei. Yeah. I follow from first and until now. Yeah, your presentation is regarding the learning improvement in Asian African countries. Yeah. You already have a lot of effort to promote the learning improvement in Asian and African countries. Yeah, and you bring the Japanese idea, Japanese, cultures to these countries, and I think that's the challenge for Professor Kusakabe is how to, promote the learning culture in those countries. Yeah, and yeah, for Pak Rector, thank you very much, Pak Rector. It's a very inspiring presentation regarding the research in learning in three countries, comparing Japan culture, Philippine and Indonesian, and of course Indonesian and Philippine is very similar in challenge to improve the learning quality. Yeah. But by I think conducting the the classroom activity, yeah, we focus on classroom activity. We tried to to change the teachers' perception, teachers' idea in promoting learning, yeah, especially in the classroom level, yeah. But based on the data, yeah, I'm not surprised that in Japan it's more dialogue, student dialogue than Indonesian children and Philippine children. That's I realize that it's difficult to change the children culture, yeah, in the giving the idea, yeah, presenting the the idea, and also collaboration, yeah, in the classroom, yeah, because I think in Indonesia is in long time we already done the competitive rather than collaborative, yeah, in learning, yeah. For example, Indonesia is more many like competition in science, in math, yeah, and for example in Olympiad, something like that. But let's emphasize on the learning culture in the classroom level. Yeah. So I think this is the challenge for Indonesian teachers, Indonesian educators, how to shift it, yeah, how to shift from teachers, the teaching into student learning. Yeah, I think that's the challenge. I already, have some experience that the student dialogue is related to the teacher's talk. If the teachers talk much, but if the teachers talk too much, then the student is could not make dialogue. So in some cases, yeah, I observed that if the teacher reduce the talking frequency, then the student dialogue will improve. Yeah. So that is the challenge for Indonesian educators. Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Arif. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much, Pak Sumar, for your discussion, which is you can grab two different ideas and then connecting with yesterday and the day before yesterday presentation of Kusakabe Sensei. Now I would like to open for the question and answer session. If you have any questions, discussion or comments, you might have a raise hand, and then there is a raise hand menu that you just click it. And then meanwhile waiting, I would like to see in the chat room, we have two questions right here. First is for Kusakabe Sensei, and then second is for Professor Solahuddin. I would like to firstly come to the Professor Kusakabe from Mr. Arif Solahuddin, different Arif, many Arif in Indonesia, we believe. He said that, what do you mean about tutorial school every Friday in Ethiopian school? Is it like a remedial teaching for students? Was this approach adopted from Japan schools? Over to you, Sensei, please.
Thank you very much for the questioning. I already explained in the yesterday the detail of this project in Ethiopia. The school-based tutorial is the tutorial at the school, means that as a bit mentioned in today's lecture, the teachers usually the teachers teach in the first grade and also the class A, 40 students. But after the school regular timetable, after the regular timetable, the mathematics teacher, science teacher, English teachers, national language teacher, each subject teacher will wait at the classroom. And then if I am a student, I couldn't understand today's lecture in the mathematics, then I can visit to the mathematics classroom. And the mathematics classroom, in the mathematics classroom, I can ask my question to math teachers. So the usually math teachers must accept the tons of questions because of students hate mathematics usually. So the duty of the mathematics teachers to be very heavy. Sorry, Mr. Arif-san, Shorifuddin-san mentioned in this question, the kind of remedial teaching for students. Was this approach adapted from the Japan schools? No, this unit of the school-based tutorial is established by the World Bank, the GQUIP, General Education Quality Improvement Project. created this framework. But the school-based tutorial policy were sleeping. Policy itself were sleeping in the federal government, and then didn't acting in the classroom level. So Hiroshima University and the Addis Ababa University team wake up the this policy document and policy document, get up after the long sleeping, and then we applied from the document level to action level. That's the point. So we didn't constrain the Japanese education methodology. Already they have their own education policy, but it was sleeping. So I revived those better project for the education. That maybe it could be answer to Shorefuti's question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sensei, for the response and question for the answer. And then second one is I would like to come to the Professor Salahuddin, Pak Rector. There is one question from Julia Roli Senang. Pak Rector, are you still with us?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. She said that, sir, when we open the class, means buka kelas, I think it is important so we can improve capability of teachers in teaching. Sir, she said, why the government or there is no policy that emphasize the rule so that every school open class as a change of controlling? Yeah. Yes, Professor Salahuddin, please.
Yeah, I think this question is more appropriate to ask to Mas Menteri, because I am not bureaucrat here. I think we do agree with Pak Sumar as well, that in Indonesia there are many controllings, there are many demands, who insist teacher to do many things, So I think the teacher activities in the classroom, it's not just knowledge and it's not just the teacher knowledge and skill, but also it is involve the culture, even in more in broader in broader. It also involve environmental factors, like Mr. Sumar said that in Indonesia there are many competition, there are many demands, and etc. And all of this, I think, this influence, the teachers' behavior, the teacher activities in the classroom. I think the teaching is the art, So actually, it is flexible for teacher to arrange, to determine the steps of his or their teaching, So it is not a standard rule, because maybe different content, different situation, different context, insist different thesis activities, teaching steps, in the teaching. So what we know, what we need here is firstly is try to improve the teacher capability, and the secondly is we try to give flexibility to teachers, to arrange their own activities according to me, not controlling, not too many regulation, controlling, and demands, who make us confusion maybe to teachers, to do more flexible, more creative, and so on and so on. That might be my opinion, Pak Arif.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Salahuddin. Professor Salahuddin, just a little bit concerned. Swakabe Sensei mentioned that lesson study originated from Japan to Indonesia and then introduced firstly through UPI, where Pak Sumar as a president.
Pak Sumar is the pioneer here,
Yes. And then would you like to inform to us, Professor Salahuddin, as UPI Rector, how is lesson study now in UPI? I mean, regarding the support or the development, Prof?
What I know is lesson study is very very spread out by Faculty of Science and Math, ya, and Pak Sumar as a pioneer, I think. Now lesson study is spread out not just in West Java maybe, but in almost all Indonesia. Yeah, maybe Pak Sumar can give more real experience and information about the development of lesson study Indonesia in Indonesia. Pak Sumar maybe much more now about it than me. But what I know is it is led by Faculty of Science and Math, ya, in UPI.
Pak Sumar, please,
Pak Sumar.
Pak. Still mute, Pak. Pak Sumar, I think he has a technical problem. Oh yeah, please, Pak.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Pak Arif. Yeah, thank you, Pak Rector. Yeah, we started 2006 in small scale piloting, in Bandung, in Yogyakarta, and Malang. But today, the lesson study practices was spread out all over the country, from Aceh to Papua. But the challenge is the sustainability of the lesson study. If teacher just know the theory, not practice of lesson study or open class, but nothing will happen to learning improvement. Yeah. With regard to the previous question about asking government to ask a teacher to open class, actually government is already have many projects like Bermutu. Bermutu is Bermutu adopt the lesson study practices, but unfortunately, when the project ended, the activity also finished. Yeah. So what I want to ask educators in Indonesia, let's start with the small first and then become bigger. Yeah. Not waiting for the bigger, not waiting for the national policy first, but let's start with our classroom, from small class and then become bigger. Yeah, that's I'm thinking about it. Yeah, because right now is every LPTK, University of Education in Indonesia, has got the support from ministry to implement the lesson study. Yeah, but the challenge was when the support was stopped, then the lesson study also stopped. That's the challenge. So I'm asking to everybody, teachers and educators also, let's just start our class, to make better class, to make student dialogue, promote student dialogue. So shifting from teacher center to student center learning. Yeah. So and right now also Ministry of Education Indonesia support 60 universities for school university partnership. So faculty staff, collaborate with teachers to promote children learning center. Yeah. So thank you very much, Rector.
Okay, thank you very much for the explanation and information.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pak Rector, Prof. Sumar, for your explanation. And then, is there any questions from audience, or maybe Kusakabe Sensei, you want to say a question to Pak Rector, or vice versa, please?
Just, I'd like to reply to the Smart Sensei's comment. Also, I have the same philosophy with Smart Sensei. My approach also, as he mentioned in his comment, the small scale. We should start from the small scale, and that we can check, because just I'd like to give the reasons why we should start from the small scale, because of course, there are some, needless to say, we have this convenient reasons, because we can handling very easily in the small scale. The one classroom is maybe we can negotiate with the principal and the teacher. That's convenient as well. But on the other hand, also it's convenient to check the result, outcome, output, and also we can reflect and change our policy or change our direction if we can find some problem or future issue for the success of the pilot project. So and after that, again, we should start same level, the small. If we can have the bridging between small project and small project in same place, then we can get some, method. After the trials, many of trials, we can get the method which is a specific, verified and also proved. So that's already Indonesia's lesson study status already have the very, very concrete method, and which could be successfully in any school. So I believe that if we could have the confidence and method, concrete method, we can develop furthermore to the another places. Of course, if we apply to the another place, maybe we can find also another problem due to the culture, locality. But that is interesting point. So I believe that Hendai and Smart Sensei's philosophy, and also my finding that, as I told you before, that if the provider, the pilot project provider, can make convince and also pass the passion to the local people, we could have any success, and also we can share the failure together. So I believe that we can make the bridge, the Smart Sensei's philosophy and also our method. So I believe that the Hiroshima University and the UP must keep in touch in the future. Thank you very much.
Arigatou gozaimasu, Sensei. Just for your information, Pak Rector, between Hiroshima and UP, we have first double degree in masters, and then we have Asia Campus for Exchange starting from 2022.
What program studies, Pak Ari?
Mathematics, science, early childhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from 3 programs, Pak Rector. And then there is one comment from Miss Julia. Konnichiwa, Sensei. Hajime maste. Watashi wa Julia desu. Hi. Then during comparing country Asia, Africa for Indonesia, what is suggestion for learning improvement in Indonesia? That's question from Sensei, for Sensei. And this is question from Professor Solehuddin. But this is DM, Pak, direct message. Pak Rektor into bahasa Indonesia. Pak Rektor, mohon maaf, izin bertanya, kami melihat lesson study rujukannya ke UPI. Bagaimanakah sekarang perkembangan lesson study di dalam UPI? Saya tidak menyebutkan namanya, Prof, karena ini DM. Ya. Then I will to Kusakabe Sensei first regarding the question, please.
Thank you very much, Julia-san. Konnichiwa. I believe that throughout the comparison of Asian and African countries, the suggestion is tons of suggestion I have. For example, at least Japanese teachers, if they get any advices or suggestion from the observers of my lecture, then listen. The teachers say, on surface, they say yes. Yes, I agree with that. But internally, they don't agree. If that a bit complaining to my lesson. Usually, on surface, we say yes, but internally, we say no. So that means, of course, it's good. Each teacher must have the filter, their philosophy in terms of the lesson. So, but they can reflect. So strongly the Japanese teachers must have themselves teacherness. So it's sometimes they make like a quarrel or debate with the observers. So, but after the quarrel or after the debates, they can create a new philosophy of the education. So I think in Indonesia, according to my observation, for example, if the professors or education officers stand up in the backside of the classroom, then teacher try to obey. Yes, because of professor say. But it's not a correct way to the true education. That means Indonesian teachers must have their teacherness, their philosophy. So they can give debate to professors, also UPI professors, also Hiroshima University professors. We can debate more and more. That's the suggestion. So the teachers in Indonesia don't have to 100% obey to our advice. That's the point and suggestion from my side. For example, African teachers say, no, your advice is incorrect. They say to us, so because you don't understand this situation, then I sometimes find, okay. So you are a teacher. That sometimes we debate in African teachers. Also, I request try to say my philosophy to them. But after getting the debate, we must have very good idea, very good thinking. So the lesson study is a lesson study process. I believe that. So we must have the debate or discussion in the lesson study place. That is my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sensei. What a great feedback from model teacher said that your comment is incorrect. Yeah, okay. Hope it doesn't happen in Indonesia, hopefully. Yeah, come to the second questions. This second question is in Bahasa Indonesia. One of the, I think this is from one of the dosen, Pak. I think dia mengimplementasikan lesson study. He implemented lesson study in higher education. Beliau bertanya, dalam melaksanakan lesson study kami merujuk ke UPI. Bagaimana perkembangan lesson study di dalam UPI? Silakan Pak Rektor. Semoga tidak gangguan ini suaranya, Pak Prof. beliau menjapri, suaranya tidak terdengar kami di sini. Prof. Salehuddin, apakah terdengar suara kami, Prof? Oh, yeah. He said that he could not hear our voices, just pictures. Okay. Meanwhile, I think it's rainy there, I believe, or some technical problems. Okay, let me continue to the questions again from any audience, if you have some. Pak Rector, are you still with us? Can you hear our voice? Okay, still in the technical problem. Okay, so since no more questions, or I would like to jump up to the Pak Sumar. Pak Sumar, is there any question or comments, Pak Sumar, before we end up this webinar?
Yeah, Pak Arif. Well, thank you very much, Pak Arif, for this webinar series. Yeah, this is the second series, I think. Yeah, and we still have another series, right? Yeah, for this KIC, yeah, knowledge innovation exchange. Yeah, so I think this is a good idea to have the discussions, yeah, regarding for learning improvement, yeah, in especially in Indonesia. This will benefit for us. Yeah, we learn from Japan, from other places, other countries. Yeah, I think will enrich, will promote the learning quality in Indonesia. And Pak Arif, may I mention that about the lesson study in OP is still going on. Yeah, I still have the partnership with many schools. Yeah, especially in Sumedang. Yeah, almost every week we have an open class. Yeah, I think yesterday also we had open class, and Monday also we will have an open class. So, but no, it's already on offline, yeah, already offline open class, not daring anymore. Yeah, so we still continue, and also Pak Ari, Pak Asep, and I already be a model teacher, yeah, for open class at UPI. Yeah, so and we have many videos. Yeah, if Ibu Bapak interested in learning more about the whole lesson study in UPI, most welcome to contact Pak Ari. Yeah, we already have some information, and also many research in UPI also. Yeah, we research on the lesson study, how to, improve the learning quality. But of course, the title maybe it's not lesson study, but the content, the whole subject is learning improvement. Yeah. Thank you, Pak Arif. Thank you, Pak Rektor, Pak Sukabak KB. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof. Sumar, for your explanation. And we believe that there's still technical problems in the Professor Salahuddin's internet connection or device. And then since we don't have any other questions, and then because the limitation of time, constraint of the time, and I believe Professor Salahuddin, Sakabe Sensei, Prof. Sumar, and any all audience, you are very busy. And then thank you so much. You have spared your time in your busy and then in your priority activity to put this webinar as one of the important parts in your today's activity in the weekend. So on behalf of the committee, and also to inform to all the audience that the certificate will be sent through your email, and then yesterday's certificate already done, the first day of KIX 2 already done for the certificate, and please wait, we have KIX 3 or KIX third cycle, and the topic is about social emotional learning, and then educational policy in international, presenting professors from Waseda University and then professors from Tokyo University. We will inform to you, and this is going to be another interesting to see. So on behalf of the committee, on behalf of the UPI, and then partnership with UNSRI, partnership with Hiroshima University, under funding of WCU from UPI, we would like to say thank you so much indeed for your presentation. Hope to see you again in the near futures. And then, because yesterday is a teacher day or Hari Guru, I would like to close with a quote from Andreas Schleicher, General Secretary of OECD. He said that the quality of educational system in a country will never exceed the quality of its teacher, which is very important, the quality of its teacher. And the learning improvement project from Kusakabe Sensei, improving teachers and students, project from Professor Solehuddin, mostly improving what we can see from teachers, metacognitive aspects from teachers. Yeah, me, moderator, would like to close the session of the webinar, and then really apologize for technical problems and then for any inconvenience occurred. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, selamat siang, salam sejahtera buat kita semua.
Amin. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Thank you,
Terima
Prof.
kasih,
Thank you,
terima
Pak
kasih,
Rektor.
terima
Thank you,
kasih.
Prof. Kusakabe, Pak